What's going on, guys? This is Pat
and Dave from the Erie Better Beer Bureau. Today we have a fairly regional, if not local, brewery to us. This is Full Pint. This is their Rye Rebellion, which is their Imperial Stout aged in rye whiskey barrels. I want to say it runs in at 12%.
It's 11%.
Is it?
Yeah.
11%. And they're out of, well, Pittsburgh, PA, but officially...
the area of North Versailles.
Okay, deal. There's no shortage of bourbon.
No.
I mean, I get a lot of bourbon.
In fact, that's nearly the only aroma I'm getting out of this. It's pretty well dominated by the bourbon.
Yeah, you get a little bit of dark chocolate, a little bit of bitterness, but by far it is that rye whiskey.
There's a hint of a sugary character to it, but
a little different flavor. I think it's because it's rye whiskey barrels instead of typical bourbon barrels, but it's like a little different than that typical real sweet bourbon.
Let's get into this.
Cheers.
Cheers.
I get the bourbon, and I get a little more roastiness on the flavor than in the aroma. But I still get that little bit of apple core, like kind of fruity, dark fruit, somewhat, like I said, an apple core. There's no way to beat around it.
You know what I'm not getting that's surprising me? There's not a lot of that like rye spiciness that I was expecting.
No, and I think that's because it's more, instead of adding rye as a malt, or as a grain in the beer, it's rye whiskey barrels. So I don't get any of the rye spice, but I do get a lot of bourbon, and I get some roastiness on the flavor. And like I said, that aroma of apple core kind of carries over into the into the flavor.
In fact, I would say it's even more pronounced as a definite apple flavor in the taste than it was in the aroma.
And I like it. It's actually great.
It's a nice complement to the roasty malts in this.
I get a little of that on the way back, and I'm getting a little bit of kind of an oak barrel, kind of an oaky note.
But I'm kind of surprised at how little oakiness there is to this beer. There's a hint of it way into the aftertaste. Yeah. But
same with this, I get a little bit of dark chocolate too, but just a hint. Alright, as far as a score on this one, I'm going to go a 4 out of 5. I'm leaning towards 4.25, but it's not quite there. There's a lot of great flavors in this one, but my only criticism would be if it had a little richer flavors, a little more diverse flavors, more oak, and a little thicker mouthfeel. That would put it up into the 4.25, even 4.5 range if it had some of those characteristics. But yeah, I'm going to go 4 out of 5. A real great brew.
I'm going to agree with what he said. I'm going to give it a rate just a hair lower. I'm going to give it a 3.75 out of 5. Again, it's an above average. It's a good beer. Compared to a lot of the barrel-aged beers that we've had lately, though, it really doesn't quite measure up.
Yeah.
There's just a lack of boldness anywhere in this beer.
I agree.
It has a fairly good balance. There's a nice, like that apple flavor, that apple core kind of flavor.
Yeah.
Gets stronger the longer you're drinking it here.
It does.
But there's kind of that roasty bitterness up front, and then that apple core in the end, and just the barest hint of an oaky flavor on the back end. Mm-hmm. And it's a great beer. I just kind of like a little bit more out of it.
Yeah, I can agree with that. There you have it, Rye Rebellion from Full Pint Brewery, just right outside of Pittsburgh.
Cheers.